Hello everyone. All right, get the link shared out here. I'm gonna get live for a little bit. We can see what happens here. Share this out. In the Discord. Give everyone a few minutes to get in here. Hey, you can still sleep. Fall asleep to the sound of my voice. All right. Just wait a couple minutes. Let people join the live stream. Price is testing some major highs right now. We'll just give some context for where we're at. These major highs grinding into a pretty bullish uptrend all day yesterday. Some nice volatility here. I do have a short running. Won't be surprised to see higher, but I'll kind of go over my thoughts here. I actually did do a 3-hour live stream, a members live stream already today, but we'll get live again, just because this is kind of interesting. Got some nice. I was live throughout here earlier today for a members live stream. I was thinking about it. I might make that recording public just so people can go over it. I got the context here dialed in pretty nicely. Looking for these highs, but maybe looking for a little uptrend, fake out, come test the lows, and then an impulse to the highs. So that ended up playing pretty well. I got about 2R off of a short here. Had to cover. I didn't get another short on the sweep of this, but I got a long down here into this pump. And now I've added to my shorts here. I think there's scenarios. This is kind of locally important where we still push up higher. Today will be a wash profit-wise if we just break out here because I rolled those profits into my short position. But I'll go over order flow a little bit here. Some of these traders have been getting absolutely smoked. These aggressive, this whole uptrend, pretty much. I won't spend too much time on this just for the sake of the members because I already covered all of this, but just a lot of, some aggressive longs at the highs, a lot of aggressive selling into this whole uptrend. And then anytime some longs opened up at the highs, selling, shorting into the lows, long into the highs, some big bullish divergences into this uptrend, which is one of the reasons that I, in today's live stream, just said, you know, with these aggressive shorts, like 33 million coming in here, some more aggressive selling, shorting here, even just from a local perspective, longing into this uptrend. And then here we started to see a lot of aggressive longs come in. And I just, it was kind of a tough call to make because it looks kind of weird, but I like the idea of shorting into this, into these local lows, and then looking for longs into these lows, and that all ended up playing. But anyways, all these aggressive positions have been getting violated. And here we have a lot of aggressive longs opening into this. 178 million positive delta, 700 million volume, 200 million positive delta, 750 million volume, 92 million, a little bit of aggressive. I mean, there's long shorts, but just the delta here is impressive. Not so much on Bybit. But anyways, we have a range here, kind of holding a breakout for now. There's a lot of ways this can play. I think the interesting thing will be to see what happens when price starts kind of breaking down with all of these positions, whether we go higher first or not. There's a bit of aggressive selling coming in here on Bybit. But you can see pretty clear bullish divergences, choppy, grindy uptrend. It, I think, became somewhat clear or obvious that these highs were likely coming today through this uptrend. And so, anyways, here we are. The highs are here. And maybe maybe they hold, maybe they don't. You know, for me, it's just, I'm not watching any news events, thinking about any news events. You can definitely get volatility around things like the FOMC and whatever, but I'm just looking at this hundreds of millions of aggressive longs across the market up here to probably get punished. And if they don't, then I'm going to get punished. So Mohammed's asking, you still looking to long XRP or man? I'm assuming you're referring to the idea from the members live stream. This is just the 1 minute chart. This is just a little a local setup I like. Like here, XRP's rejecting from the GP of this move. Pretty clean rejection here. 618, and it's kind of a trade. I mean, I've actually taken this exact trade on XRP off of initial pumps, probably, I don't know, quite a few times. But it's just a little local setup, looking for these lows to get taken and trade it back up towards the highs, lock in a TP1, maybe carry some for a potential breakout. But yeah, I'm interested. Just a little scalp setup, take all the local lows on the 1 minute chart into the GP of the move. Have a little bit of local structure here. I mean, I'm not going to go look at it now, but for those of you who have seen me trade this setup before, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is pretty much exactly what it's looked like in the past. Little front run here. This was, I think at least one member said they shorted this into this low. Little front run here. I was watching to maybe take along there. Not front run, so anyways, maybe it comes here and maybe it all just breaks down. That would maybe act as a little bit of a hedge to my Bitcoin short. The reality is I'm going to take a lot off into these highs anyways. I still think there's a lot of scenarios that lead into these lows for XRP, but I like this type of setup, so would be willing to trade it for sure. Read through a couple questions. But anyways, for me, this is just a 0% chance I won't have shorts running here on Bitcoin. I might get stopped out. This is sort of the last, these highs are sort of the last idea. to maybe add one more time to the shorts, but yeah, I've got a decent amount of risk on here. Just be a, okay, bulls, you win. Okay, let me read. So there's some scenarios here that would also be kind of interesting. You know, like there's a lot of aggressive longs open here. And when these lows start going, if they go, price can come down really quickly. This can play kind of nicely for a local setup and even towards these highs, but probably going to get some profits off of that, something like that, if it doesn't just nuke, set to break even. And I'd potentially hedge my short with that, pull some profits off, and have a short running from the highs, long running from the lows. My exact words, I think, on the members live stream today were just watching the order flow. I mean, you're basically just seeing literally everything that happens, the aggressive traders are doing the exact opposite. And like they're long, short, long, short, long, short, you know, closing their long, shorting, closing long, shorting. And anyways, I was just saying, you know, there's a setup I like to trade on the low time frames. It's kind of hard to explain, and it's a little bit, maybe a little bit subjective, but you kind of have this like local uptrend forming on the low time frame towards a major level. And so you have the three lows, the impulse. And what you have here is basically, the exact words I used were just how predatory price action is. Because what I think is probably likely to happen, so many people are going to be longing this because these highs look impossible that they're not coming. Like it seems like there is no way you're going to long here and these highs aren't going to come and price is just going to nuke all these. But that is probably what's going to happen. Front run these highs, run the lows, and then maybe have a move to the upside. And yeah, I mean, I ended up ending the live stream here, but it's just like hellish price action for these traders. Like you're just watching the positions they're opening, and it really is essentially long, short, or long, stop out, short, long, stop out, short, long, get nuked, long, get nuked, short, get nuked. Like that's literally what's happening in the order flow. So a lot can happen here. This is kind of interesting price action. But I think probably whether we see higher or not. By the way, when I say I have a lot of risk on here, I don't think there's any reason for setups like this to risk more than something like 1% of your trading account. If you're already an experienced, like that's how I think ideas like this can be traded. I have a little bit more on because I'm rolling some of the profits of some trades earlier today into the position. But and I'm aware that I might be trading this all the way up into here and might have to cut it on a breakout. Yeah, maybe after this live stream's over, I won't tag everyone, but in the announcements channel, I'll go back and I might just drop the link for the members live stream today, because I think it's probably worth watching, because almost exactly what I was kind of suggesting from here is exactly what happened, and it all sort of plays really well with the order flow. So yeah, if you're interested in kind of tying price action to some of those concepts in order flow, might be interesting to watch for those who want to. It's 3 hours long though, so I know, you only have so much time. Okay, let me scroll through the comments here really quickly. Good to see you guys. I don't really think the Darth Maul candles, I don't really have any importance to them. I mean, it's just volatility. It's highs run, lows run, people getting chopped up. This would have been a nice short. I caught this long here. Really aggressive selling into this low. It is, I'll just say it's, I have a bias here. Well, I don't even know if I'd call it, I have a bias. But I think even if I didn't have a bias, I would still be looking at what I'm looking at. Like if I knew nothing, I think if I knew nothing about this chart, if I hadn't looked at it in 3 months and I developed no bias and someone just plopped me right here and said, you have 5 minutes to look at this, I think I would be in this short without a bias. But I do also have a bias. So that being said, there is of course ideas where this breaks out. I mean, if there wasn't ideas like that, I wouldn't use risk management and I would just say, there's no way these highs come. So, hey, anything is possible here. But, hey, fair play. If you're opening hundreds of millions of dollars of longs right here, and those print, Giga Chads. I do not know how there are people that are still willing to take trades like that. And just look, I mean, to be fair, they did kind of work, except for most of those just got wiped out and round tripped everything. But they did kind of work on the Trump pump into this. So that'd be one of the few times, although not really, because everything just round tripped and most of those traders just got wiped out. Other stops got taken. Excuse me. Now, that I should say this. I was talking about taking scalp longs into this, and I longed into this, and if you zoom out, you could say, what's the difference? I guess probably one of the reasons that I just can't see myself longing this is because so many people are longing it. I guess if everybody was just shorting into this aggressively, I'd be more interested in just longing it as a breakout, because that whole context would be a little different. So that said, probably a lot of these traders aren't looking at order flow, and maybe it's for the best. Maybe they're gonna print some big longs off of this breakout then. All right, but I think something interesting should happen on this live stream, whether higher or lower. There's a lot of positions opening here, so or we just range, or I start the live stream and we just go sideways like this for 3 hours, maybe sideways for the next week. Who knows? But I think more likely something interesting happens. So, Emmanuel's asking what time frame you prefer to trade, 23-hour, 22, or lower time frame. Can I get your opinion about lower time frame, like 10 to 15 minutes? I think the best way to describe how I like to trade is, it's not really time frames. Like you can go to the 1 minute chart and the high is the same as it is on the daily chart, right? That high. You can zoom out on the 15-minute chart. I mean, the structure doesn't really change. If you're on the daily chart here, you basically just have lower fidelity of what is happening, but these levels obviously appear on lower time frame charts, but you can't see that how price is grinding up, interacting with local low time frame levels. So I guess the best way to put it is, like if I want to take a swing long, like this type of setup would be the type of setup you would trade maybe a little lower, because I'd be looking for this. And obviously I am still looking for this low at some point, but just ignoring all of that, this is the type of setup I would trade back up into the range highs, or to a significant lower high if there's some internal structure here like this, because it's structured around a major low, right? And so I'd trade it back towards a major high, and that's sort of the context of this short as well. But you can still look at what's happening on lower time frames. Like this is where you can zoom in, and so now you can see everything that's happening inside of this daily candle, and you can structure trades off of it, right? Like this is, it's not a preference really. It's just, if you're going to step in here and start trading into this price action, you should be aware you can't really do that by looking at the daily chart, right? Like this is an uptrend, you have aggressive selling, you could trade into the uptrend. I'll put that members live stream, I'll put the recording out, who cares? But it's just, so being aware of the aggressive selling into this, probably that this is at least the first major target of whoever is working so hard to drive price higher, because this is where the liquidity is, and good chance that you're going to be able to offload your position up here and maybe get short or higher. But yeah, I mean, I guess I would just say, if you're going to step in and trade any of this, you need to get into the lower time frames, and you can get into even lower time frames. But it's not really a preference, right? You can't really coherently trade this on looking at the daily candles. And like I took a bunch of scalps in here, and I'm looking at the 1 minute chart. I mean, it's the same idea. I can be aware of all these major lows in the context of this. I can be aware of my trending structure, but I also can be aware of all of the internal structure that's forming as well. So it's just more information. It's just like, even seeing like grinding price action like this is nice information to have, versus just looking at like a 30-minute candle. It's nice to see how price is moving between levels, in my opinion, if you're trading the lower time frames. But generally speaking, if you're trading higher time frame charts, you're not taking trades every day, right? If you're trading the daily chart or the weekly chart. some of this, let me just read this again. Someone says, would you watch for a scenario where the PA is like the one we had back in the first pump to 65K in 2021? Well, back then, weekly, kind of now, like it would be the worst pump we get, even more worse than a big dump due to liquidity issue right now. Honestly, I know that I know you're trying to say something there, and it probably makes a lot of sense, but it's so hard to really think of. Like, I would need to see, you need to like post a chart in the Discord and show the comparison or something, like draw it out or something. It's just kind of hard to answer that. Oh, Abdullah's saying, overview Bitcoin price action, please, in the coming few months. Do you think will it still break all-time high? I can go over my opinion. I mean, it's really all going to depend on what happens. Like, for example, yesterday, 2 days ago, I thought probably we were going to see lower. And when I wake up and see this, I think we're probably going to see higher. Because like prices just grinding. This is very bullish price action and bullish absorption. So it's just here I'm like, okay, these highs are probably coming. It looks quite likely. So just that said, I can give my high time frame perspective, but it's really going to depend on what happens between now and all of those potential levels. Yeah, I mean, the general idea of being short here, maybe it drags on, maybe it breaks out, who knows, is that I'd like to see this come at 68K, this low taken, and then I'll be looking for new all-time highs. And I don't think there's maybe too much of a point to talk about those targets, but these are just kind of randomly drawn. They're high. They're probably 200K plus, maybe even higher. And that's my primary idea, but it might not play, and a lot can happen between now and then. But luckily, I am allowed to look at the charts every day if I want to, and make decisions based on what happens at different moments. And so I can just change my mind and take different trades. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can have a high time frame perspective. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you certainly should just be paying attention to whatever is happening. That's the most important perspective. I'll put the order flow on while I read comments. I have asked on live streams before, and I think what members and whatever they prefer to have this pulled up. Buy bid on this side, Binance, USDT. The USD order flow is just like dead. It's like nobody is trading at this pairing anymore. It's crazy. So this is a bit of a short squeeze. Not so surprising on Bybit because there's some aggressive shorting coming in to this low. Kind of developing a range here, and certainly possible we get a move up to that high above. Um, you know, at the point of taking a trade, someone's asking, do you ever take trades where you risk more than 3 to 5%? Uh, I don't really like talking too much about, like, in a case like this, rolling profits from two really nice trades that I snagged. Uh, you know, if you're kind of trading your account as like you're not counting profits that you're taking, you're just trading in a static account size, you might end up in a situation like this. For me, justifying putting on a little more risk and ending up break even on the day, whereas you otherwise wouldn't have. But then the other thing is you end up carrying a lot of risk, right, with unrealized profits. I think for most traders, if you're brand new, you should be paper trading. When you first start trading with any money, you should be basically putting a few dollars into a trading account and taking a pretty good sample of trades. I think starting at a static 1% risk, building a big sample of trades is a great place to start. But if you, let's say you inherited $100,000 and that's a lot of money to you, you make 20K a year or whatever, maybe you don't have an income, you shouldn't be trading 1% of that money, your life savings. But, you know, if you're starting with a $100 account as a practice account and you're putting on 1% risk per trade, I think that's a great place to start building some personal trading data. But you should start with paper trading as a brand new trader. You're not going to make money anyways. This is exo charts. I'm not sure. There's so many definitions for things. Someone's asking, Spiros is asking, are order blocks and hidden order blocks the same thing as liquidity zones that you usually trade? I don't know. I mean, it's like there's so many people have so many different. You hear so many things and you hear them described in so many different ways. Liquidity zones, hidden order blocks. I have no idea. A lot of local shorts getting stopped out here. Some aggressive longs as well. Full on ranging looking PA. Interesting to see if these highs get tested, and these highs up here can come pretty quickly. I'll maybe pop over to the trading view chart if we have a little breakout here. I am prepared to carry my short through something like this, but also willing to cut it. Always a chance of having to cut it and reopen it. Right now, this is technically a breakout, a retest, and a reclaim. We had a little bit of a breakdown here. pop over to order flow here for you guys. I forget if I think I said this is exo charts. I forget. I'm answering the question again if not. Rana says, you talk about these moves like an individual is doing those moves. Can you share the thought process? Are you talking about order flow or like their intention would be to push up price? I'm really just compositing aggressive traders and the limit orders that are moving price or taking the other side. It's of course not an individual, right? I mean, in some cases it might be an individual, but local highs are coming. This can pop. It'll be interesting to see here. Some aggressive longs. Be interesting to see if this rejects or we impulse through the high above. Someone says no emotions with paper trading. That is true. Well, that's actually not true. Some people do feel emotions or frustration, or some people say, oh, when I paper trade I just don't care, right? And maybe that makes their trading really good, maybe it makes it really bad, but you could say that being aloof, carelessness is a type of emotion. I think what you should do, it's all on a spectrum, but just imagine somebody who knows nothing about trading. Their first day, they've never seen a movie with trading referenced. They have a lot to learn, and a lot of that stuff is just it's so basic. They don't need money. They don't need emotions. They literally need to understand just how to open orders, how to set a stop loss. So that's like the most basic level. But then maybe after that, they maybe need to learn some of the basics of what am I doing? Why would I buy? Why would I sell? And all of that is actually a lot more, it's a bigger time horizon for most new traders than I think people realize, is where they literally are gaining nothing from having the emotions of trading real money, because there's no reason they should be taking any trade. They're still kind of just figuring out why they would do anything. And I think once they can figure all of that out, do some back testing, forward testing, take a bunch of trades. That's one thing that is really good about paper trading, is you can sit there and you can say, okay, I'm going to test some of this stuff out. I want to try this. Like, okay, I'm going to short here for this reason, take profits here, long here, and this is the reason why. And they're just free to get experience. Where a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll do the exact opposite. They'll put in a lot of money into the market and start trading, learn all the things they have to learn with a lot of money relative to them at risk, and they'll of course get blown up and wrecked by the market 99% of the time, and they won't actually be gaining a lot of experience because they won't be putting on the trades, right? So they'll just be getting abused by the market, frustrated, and instead of just kind of like, oh, that lost, let me try it again. Oh, that didn't work. Maybe I'll try something else. Like, you're way less likely to get into a revenge trading mentality. And so I just, there's a story of one of our Discord members, BSO. He was essentially he was struggling for a long time. He said, screw it, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to paper trade. And I built a paper trading platform. It's free to use. You can use other ones. It doesn't matter, but let you track your trades and whatever. So he decided to use that, and it had a leaderboard. And he said it was such a relief to him. It only has 2x leverage. To have no access to high leverage, not really care. And he just started trading, and he topped the leaderboard after several months by a pretty large margin. And he said it built up his confidence so much that he knew what he was doing, and that's what he needed to do. He went in and opened applied for a prop fund account, got funded instantly, and then ended up with their biggest prop fund payout in history, like 70 grand or something. And so anyways, he just wrote me to say, like, that experience paper trading really just changed his mindset. It gave him the confidence that because there's something about just doing what you're supposed to do without the emotions of, oh, what if I ran the trade up to here? I could make $1 million, or I put on this size. And just saying, okay, I'm just going to do the things I think I'm supposed to do, learn something, and see what the outcome is. And then see the result of that, and then try it again with a little bit of emotion. I think the next stage is just to start with a little bit of money. So anyways, I honestly believe most people who bash paper trading as a place to start and learn, and most people do, they'll say, paper trading stupid, you don't learn because you don't have emotions, haven't never done it. Like maybe they did it for a day, but I don't think, I don't trust most people's opinion on that matter. Because yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I think people get a little blasé about how dangerous trading is. And they'll say, like, just go in, you'll lose some money, but that's how you learn. It's like, no, I mean, there's a reason most people quit and lose everything, and it's a terrible experience, is because they're set up to fail. Like, there's just no chance that they're going to win. Yeah, so that's my opinion on it. Some of these longs kind of getting trapped up here at the highs of the range. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so the same person that says, like, emotions, you need to feel it. Yeah, so I just say, like, I would liken it to you're going to become a surgeon, and somebody says, all right, well, we're going to start here on a simulation on a dummy, and we're going to teach you about the anatomy of humans and how you would perform this surgery. And that person says, nah, I can't learn anything unless I have a live patient. I need the emotion of knowing that if I do something wrong, they're dead. It's like, you need to learn the basics. You don't need a live patient. And I think that's essentially what it is for a new trader with paper trading versus trading with real money. Yes. Stan is saying, where can we find the platform? Is it still available? Yep. Here, if you go into the into this channel, in the Discord, I guess this is just a members channel. Just new members start here, kind of gives a walkthrough for the Discord, but here it is, tradingarena.io. So you can go to tradingarena.io, and that's our free paper trading platform. And it's journaling and other stuff as well. There's other there's other paper trading platforms out there as well if you prefer to use those. TradingView has a free built-in one. I think the cool thing, so the whole idea of the trading arena, and it's not completely finished yet, but you can track a bunch of stats. You can set up like your own confluences for trades, like your own trading system. So you can just custom type in like a checklist for a trade, and when you take it, it will store it with your trade. So you could search by like, whatever, order blocks or a combination, trend line plus order block plus fib, whatever it is, and look at only the trade results of those setups. And then there's a leaderboard, so you can see how you're competing against other traders. And there's like a little achievement things. If you get into the top 3, we should probably reset that, but we haven't. But if you get into the top 3, you get a free Discord membership. And eventually, I would like to have competitive seasons, and you can join for that season and maybe earn some rewards based on how you do it as a paper trader. But haven't really finished all that yet. But just trying to, and I would like to eventually make it more of like a educational platform with prompts and things like that. But I mean, it's like a little side project. It's fully functional. It works. There's I think a lot of cool things to add to it. And D-Hawk's a Discord member, has helped me build it. I mean, he's built it essentially, the whole thing. And he's amazing. And I've probably dropped the ball a little bit on the progression of that platform. But it works. It does what it does. There's kind of 2 ways I could answer this next question. Mode says at the beginning, should I take all trading setups or should I take A+ trades only? That's really hard to define, because I mean, if you're just actually a brand new beginner, it'd be really hard to grade any trades. As an absolute beginner, you really should be trading as much as possible with no risk, or essentially no risk. Like because you don't want to be handicapped with the experience that you can gain by the fear of loss, right? Like, oh, I've already lost a trade today. I don't want to take another loss. I'm not going to trade anything else today. So it's also, I mean, it's funny. There is just something about, I feel like every trader experiences this to some degree. There's like the trades that you are like, I don't really know about this trade. I'll take it. And then it just prints perfectly. And you're like, okay, well, I mean, I had a reason to take it. I took it. I didn't really think it was going to work, and it works. There's the trades you feel good about and they work. There's the trades you're kind of mad about, they don't work. Like, you have all those. And every once in a while, and this might be one of those trades, you feel really confident about a trade, or you feel really good about it, and it just does not work at all. And so I think as a new trader, it's really hard to grade trades, right? Because you'd be like, okay, I'm only taking A+ setups, and then you take the 2 trades that you think are absolutely A-plus setups and they don't work, and it kind of, even that can kind of mess with your mentality a little bit. That sounds like a question for Google, but I don't think there's there's probably not a clear stat. Somebody's saying what percentage of traders can earn 1,000% yearly or more? I have no idea. I would imagine it's very, very small. And I would imagine that what it really works out to over a long time frame is you might have some traders who have earned 1,000% in a year, and you might have some traders that have earned 1,000% and then ultimately are losing traders over some long period of time, winning traders who had a really good year. What percentage of traders that earn on average 1,000% a year or more over a long period of time? Close to zero. Just go Google the top performing money managers of the last 50 years. But again, there's a big difference between like a day trader trading a small account, someone's best year. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so Maud's saying, I was talking about paper trading to get data. I had a Discord membership. So he's asking, should I only take A-plus setups, paper trading? No, you should try a lot of stuff. You're trying to get experience. Like, you're also trying to kind of figure out what kind of trader you are, right? I think there's more than one way to trade. Like, for example, this uptrend, there is certainly more than one way to have taken a long anywhere in here and made money, right? Whether your style is, in the uptrend, you're gonna long these pullbacks or long these breakouts with a stop below here, whatever it is. And so part of it is just kind of figuring out what type of trader you are. And so, yeah, I would just say take lots of trades, paper trading. I mean, get into the low time frames. Make it like a goal to paper trade and take, 100 trades in a day. Just try a bunch of stuff. You can also separate out, a scalping account, scalping paper trading account, and a swing trading account. And you could separate those out with your paper trading. But for example, if you're trying to learn and you're trading just swing trades on the weekly chart and you're taking one trade a month, it's hard to get experience, right? Because you're taking 12 trades a year. So you gotta feel what it's like to be in a trade and how it feels to have a trade play out. Yeah, I'm talking about scalping, right? Like you could, when I say 100 trades in a day, I'm saying like you're shorting, like you have this internal structure. You're shorting this, you're longing this. Like you're trading all of this internal structure. This is a range, you're shorting, you're looking for longs, you're looking for shorts. You're just trading everything. This is a trend, whatever it is, right? This downtrend, you're shorting into this downtrend, adding to your shorts. Like you're just trying to identify and trade everything. And you're going to take a lot of losses, you're going to have a lot of wins, but you're just trying to trade a bunch of stuff. I mean, I've taken on on a live account 300 trades in a day. I'm gonna go back to this question because it kind of ties in with this last one, but I do feel like I've talked about all this same stuff so many times. But someone asks, Spyros asks, with AI evolving, do you think it will be more difficult to trade manually? No. No and yes. I mean, the dynamics, I just can't think of what could happen that would, like, what would happen if you had two super AI instant, like where would the edge be if you just had two AIs that have the exact same amount of money and they're trading the same asset, like, and they're trying to take each other's money, and there's no people in there that are doing dumb things against the hyper intelligent trader? It's so, I mean, it's just, that's just never going to happen. If everyone's using an AI to trade for them, like, what's really going to change? It's just going to be AIs with more capital bullying AIs without capital. Then those AIs will probably say, hey, you shouldn't even let me trade this. I'm just going to lose money, because they're super intelligent, right? And then no one will trade and the markets will just die. I don't know. Like, the thought experiment of, because that's all the market is, right? It's just like, could the edge get just so minuscule? Who knows? It's not even, let's put it this way. Is it something I'm worried about? No. If it happens, frankly, I'd be interested to see what the market could look like if it's like every ounce of edge is getting sucked out of it by super AI. And that kind of ties in, somebody else asked, as a professional trader, how confident do you feel about the sustainability of your career? Any anxiety? No. But I mean, it's like, if the super AI thing happens, then it happens, and whatever. I just, I mean, you'd probably spend some time trying to beat it and figure out you can't. And somebody's scamming with their 12-word recovery phrase in the chat. Just tag this high, building up some ranging price action here. You can see where the, oh, somebody asked earlier, I'm not going to, there's so many videos explaining order flow. I have them, other people have them, or at least these elements of order flow, but essentially these numbers down here is the delta in the candle. It's showing you this is the volume, this is the delta. Delta is the difference between the aggressive buying and the aggressive selling. So market orders, so these bid-ask profiles are showing you all the market buying into here. Market 1 million, 1.7 million, 5.1 in this candle, the price at which you add all this up, the plus and minus of the buying and the selling, it's a positive delta of 52 million. So that means there's a lot of aggressive buying in this candle, 52 million. Now, to know it's a lot, you have to watch these pairings and understand that 52 million is a lot, or, you know, here that 178 million, 250 million is a lot. Like, you need that, the context of watching it all the time to understand that's a lot. But yeah, the down here is something called CVD, cumulative volume delta, and it's really just adding each candle. So it was 57 million, negative 57.6 million. Then it added 52 million. So now it's negative 5.6 million, because 57 plus 52 is negative 57 plus. And now it went into the positive to 97 million because of this 15 million delta, and it changes the CVD, cumulative volume delta, changes candle to candle. This yellow line is that data, the CVD, shown as a line graph. So it went up because CVD went up. It goes down because CVD goes down. Usually it's following price. It makes sense. Where do people aggressively buy? Up at the highs, because they're either closing shorts because they're wusses, right? They're wusses, so they're closing their shorts here, or they're aggressively longing. This price is breaking out. People like to aggressively buy into moves to the upside and aggressively sell into moves to the downside, and that's at market. But you have to understand, you can't just buy into nothing. So when there's a 4.8 million buy limit or market buy here, this is going to be a lot of shorts closing in here. There is also a limit sell that takes the other side. So the delta here is only market buying that's showing, but you can infer there's no way to market buy without a limit seller. So there's always a buyer or seller, and it can either be limit or market, and that's what we're seeing here. So, you know, the divergences I was talking about earlier, it can be shown in this line graph, but essentially, see, you have CVD plummeting here and price holding up a much higher low, again, making a new low, and so it's not following price anymore. So here, it's clearly following price. CVD is a U, price is a U, CVD goes down with price, CVD goes up with price, and we can see it kind of peaks up here, up at the highs. This is Binance, this is CVD, 15 million, 52 million, so this is kind of where the buying peaked in these candles. And so some aggressive longing, getting trapped up at the highs. So they're trying to break out long. Typically, the way breakout or aggressive traders trade is they're going to be longing the highs and selling the lows. That's just how it always is. They're not, you're rarely seeing aggressive buyers coming at the lows, and you're rarely seeing aggressive sellers coming in at the highs, although it can happen. If you see really aggressive buys at the Pico highs, you often see them start to cover really quickly on a rejection, and that's typically the dynamic of price action. Like, if you have a range here, you'll see really aggressive longs open. If you're scalping, you can often fade that into a pullback till those longs close, and that might be how you utilize price action or CVD. Another way you could do it is, so in this case, when we're seeing CVD moving with price, but we're seeing some interesting things here, which is some really aggressive selling on these pullbacks starting to develop. And here is a case where we get this is called a bullish divergence, where price is rallying, see some aggressive buying here, mostly shorts getting squeezed, decreasing open interest, some longs, limit longs taking the other side, or limit selling taking the other side to close, some longs. And then we see this big sell-off here, 75 million negative delta, followed by 30 million negative delta with an increase in open interest. And we can see the bid-ask profile here. left side is sell, right side is buy, left side is sell, right side. So this is a heavy selling candle. And if we, in 90 million volume, it has a delta of 74 million, negative delta of 74 million. So it's primarily selling, market selling. This primary market selling, a lot of shorts opening, but also longs opening, limit longs. And so this is evidence of a limit buyer or limit buyers setting up here and willing to absorb super aggressive selling, where CVD is making a much bigger low relative to price, a much lower low, price is making a higher low, price starts grinding up again. And as price grinds back up again towards these highs, we see more aggressive selling. CVD is not following price, it's making new lows, and price is making new high or higher lows. And that's a bullish divergence. It's just saying there's a lot of aggressive selling relative to price. Then you get a big impulse. See some more really aggressive selling here, holding up. More here, saw some here, and now here. It's all kind of following price, but we have a lot of longs opened up here. Which is why if we zoom way out, we'll look at Binance here. There's a big CVD line here that goes straight up, and there's a big CVD line here that goes straight up. This is saying, hey, this is a lot of aggressive buying, right? Because we have other times where prices moved up similarly, like from here to here, like some of these candles, from here to here, from here to here. But CVD has gone up way more than normal compared to these other candles. This was a pretty big one. And so you can just tell that by looking at the CVD, a little bit of a bearish divergence there. And does that mean price has to go down? No, but I am shorting it. But that line is also just telling you that, you know, there's 500 million delta across these candles. It's a lot. It's a lot. You can just zoom out and you can see it's a lot. It's not so dissimilar to what came in at during the Trump pump. Price carried a lot higher here though. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the positions people are putting on. It could be good information to know how people are trading here. Oh, lots of people are trading. There's lots of limit there's lots of everything, but there's an outsized amount of aggressive longing, and there's lots of limit shorts opening up here, taking the other side. So probably good to know. Who knows? I like to know. Victor's asking, are you up today? I am, but maybe not for long. Today I took some very small scalp longs into this. It shorted up to here, covered a little bit on this reaction, and then I caught a nice long here. And so, but this is a pretty major idea for me to short, so, and there's a lot of room up here for price to go higher. So I've rolled some of those profits into this trade. A little extra risk. Go big or go home. Wipe out the day. And for me, or, you know, have a big swing short here. Someone says, hey, could you briefly cover membership types and cost, please? Thinking of joining you. Yeah, there's only one membership type. And it's either monthly or yearly. It's $197 a month or $1,700 a year. You essentially get 3 months free if you buy a year. There used to be a cheaper membership that like it didn't give um, like I do a lot of live market updates like this, like updating the order flow. I covered most of my thoughts today on the live stream. But anyways, just going over, like it looks, this is an inverted chart, just saying that it looks unlikely that we don't take these highs. This is just yesterday, but inverted, so they're actually lows. But anyways, there used to be something where you didn't get access to all this stuff and you just had access to the educational content, which is some of it's here, some of it's elsewhere, but it's just, you pick the topic, order flow, has videos explaining some of the stuff I just explained, and like these are templates for exo charts, videos going over risk management and different concepts like that. Oh, you can't really, I have it kind of zoomed in. You can see here, but anyways, psychology, probabilistic thinking, volume profiles, profit taking, just different educational stuff. Yeah. I think if you go to the Discord, is there a channel that just says, click, become a member? Yeah, so anyways, you join, you sign up on the website, and then you log in, and you click link Discord. This is what the pick, link Discord. It's a big button, click to get Discord role, and it will upgrade you automatically. So you create an account on the website, like Gabe's Trading For, click that. I'm just saying because a lot of people DM me and say like, I joined, but, and like I have to do something, but they just need to log in and click the link Discord button. And then you'll see all these channels instead of just the public channels. I appreciate that, Roger. Roger's been a member for a while now, right? Probably 5 or 6 months, maybe longer. He says, if you're serious about trading and truly want to learn this skill, signing up for Lucky's Discord will be the best money spent. I would say, I mean, truly, it's got to be something like 99.9% positive reviews. Over the last, I don't even know how long, it's been 4 years, maybe. I think I've had like 5 or 6 people that are like, I hate you, you're the worst, of thousands, so it's not so bad. You can come in here and a lot of members have been gracious enough to share testimonies and their experience and thoughts, and many of them are still members. But you can go through and read some of these. I think that's the best thing to do. I mean, really, a lot of members have shared their thoughts, so. I personally think, I try to think about it like this, like it should be a place that is valuable to more experienced traders, a cool place to hang out regardless, but really valuable to inexperienced traders. Part of that's the community, part of that's the content, but I really just think about like what really would have helped, what would I have liked to have, and it really is about equipping people, education. It's like ultimately it's for people who want to become completely independent, profitable traders, and just to be able to plan out their own trades, take them confidently, develop their own style, and So that's what I aim for. Christine Fiber says, I second that, Roger. After joining, it's impossible to leave with less valuable knowledge. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I wouldn't promote it if I didn't believe in it, and I put a lot of work into it, so I feel confident in saying that I think it's a no-brainer for anyone who is taking trading seriously. I think it's, I don't know of anything else quite like it, so I'm confident that it's gonna, pretty much no matter where you are in your trading journey, it's gonna add a lot of value. And that might even just be for a month. And I think if it's just a month, you'll end up taking a lot away with you for the rest of your trading career. Jordan says, the monthly payment seems like a lot, but just tail a few of his setups and it'll pay for itself. Well, we'll see. Maybe not this one. Roro says, I want to enter a small short at 86.250. Do you see the same? Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of more looking at this as a high time frame idea. I'm already short, but I'm prepared that this could come as well. And I should say this could come as well. A lot could come. And we might find out. I'm live here for a reason, because could get a little wild here, a little tricky. I talked about XRP a little earlier. Shared some local thoughts. I'd be interested in scalping a sweep of these lows. I have an alert set there. Could probably run it a little higher. Trading up into the highs. It's about a 6.5% range. I think for a setup like this, someone's asking how much do you risk on this short? I think for a setup like this, if you are not an experienced trader and never traded setups like this, 0% paper trade it. For someone like me, I think it's 1% is a great amount to risk. That means if your stop loss gets hit and you're trading it like this, and this is your setup, and you have a $1,000 trading account, you're risking 1.15% if you have a $500 position here and your stop loss gets hit. And you're maybe, for someone like me, maybe you're willing to play with the margins here, depending on what's happening, whether I'm cutting or just holding it open, soft stopping it. I think that can get very dangerous for an inexperienced trader to try to soft stop. But there might be some cases where someone like me would just get back into the trade if ultimately the move failed and didn't break out. And you end up trading it twice. Some people might opt to trade this like this and then trade this other level separately. See what happens at both. think this is so close. Like it's a little tricky. But this is why some of these questions don't really matter. Let's put it this way. Let's imagine if you watch my scalping video where I scalped, like I started with 150 bucks, and most of my positions I think were like $20 risk, and by the end of the day I was up to $6,000. But let's say you take when I'm at like $3,000 for the day, so I'm from $100 to $3,000 in one day of scalping. It's a little different if you ask somebody like, are you only risking $20 here on this trade too, or how much are you risking? Are you risking 40? It's like, I'll put it this way. If you're trading really well and you're trading profitably and like, I think this is a Druckenmiller quote, but basically like if you have a really good year and you're up 100%, why not, if you have a really good setup before the end of the year, why not go for the home run, put some more risk onto that last trade, and maybe you end the year up 60% instead of up 100%. They get commissions obviously on trading as a hedge fund, or you have 150% year, something like that, right? So I think some of that psychology plays a role as well. And some people also just trade like fixed sized accounts. So their account, they're trading, the size they're trading, it's not like it's 1% of their net worth even, right? It's just, you know, you could be, let's say you have $10,000 in your savings account and you have a trading account of $1,000 and you're risking 1% on most trades and you risk 2% on another. So if you saw how I drew out that stop loss, I'm not saying that your stop loss is 1% away. I'm saying your risk is 1%. So you could have your stop loss 2.5% away, and your risk is 1%, right? Because you could have your stop loss 100% away and keep your risk 1%. It's how you size. It has nothing to do with the distance to your stop loss. Little more aggressive longing coming in. You also asked how did you confirm your idea on order flow, or did you just take the short based on price action? A little bit of both. I mean, you're essentially just asking yourself, for me, I'm just asking myself the question, as price runs up through the highs here, and you have several billion volume, and you know, the biggest delta increase we've seen in maybe months, and you start to get a little weakness, just enter the short. It's just, do you want short exposure here? You know, all this. I mean, I gave this example in the Discord. Let me see. When I took the short, I'm taking the short knowing that all of this plays. So I said, started adding to shorts. All this can still come, but want some more exposure here. So whether we run that high at 86K, this is a range. We broke down a little bit here. Now we're ranging back up to the highs. It's like, I'm fine to be short off of any of this in this context. I know there's a lot of ways this plays out. I'm deferring to be in the short here. We took the lows, now we're ranging. And we might run these highs as well. And we might break out, but anyways, it's kind of all the same trade up until a certain point. Like running these highs, I mean, I'm just saying, anything like this and then breaking down, still kind of want to be short off of that. Might have to consider cutting and reopening depending on what happens, but also I want to be short here. I mean, I want to be short. If this happens, I want to be short. If this happens, I want to be short. If this happens, and if this happens, then it gets a little trickier. And I've never had these scammer comments like I lost my wallet, here's my recovery phrase. Never had them in the live stream. They're always in the YouTube comments, but tactical structure here. A little late for me because I entered the short here and we've recovered it. You could just say this is technically strong right now. I mean, we've broken up out of the highs. We lost them for a second, but we've reclaimed, we've retested them, pushing towards another potential breakout. That could become a range still, but this is technical strength. Yeah, there's a lot of levels up at I don't really want to chart Bitcoin dominance. Yeah. I guess. Because I looked at it, I mean, I kind of have a general idea for what's going on. It's like I don't really care, I guess. Like, let's put it this way. Why do you want me to look at it? To see if there's an alt season? What do you mean to see if you charted it right? I mean, like, we can't chart I mean, unless you, like, you could pull levels incorrectly, I suppose. But, like, you can't chart it wrong. You can just take bad trades, I guess. Poorly structured trades. Like, you could say these are the highs. It's like, is that right? Yeah. This is price breaking out of the highs. This is price not. This is a trend line. But if you say, like, this is our local high, then that's wrong. Let's see what happens here. I mean, it's tough it's hard not to say that price maybe breaks out of here a little bit and maybe even up to that high, but at the same time, it's a range, and obviously these people are thinking the same thing, which is why they keep longing the range highs, and that can be a little hit or miss. 13 million delta, 6 million, quite a bit of risk coming in at the range highs here. Some limit sellers. It's just a great place to, I always say the best place to long the top is the top. And so, but some people say, show me a new high, I'll show you a new buy. And if you're gonna long here, you're probably invalidating under here somewhere. But who doesn't want to see those lows run? Pretty tricky. Pretty tricky. I would say this is a range until it's not. Okay, so I'll look at Bitcoin dominance for a second. I don't have a lot of levels on my chart. I have a trend line. I have this GP, some highs here. We ran these highs. I'm just looking at this as an uptrend. It's not so dissimilar to what happened today on a lower time frame. This grindy uptrend ran some lows. I wouldn't mind seeing some of this play out, but whatever. Looked really strong here when price broke out of this. I shared that idea for a breakout here. Breakout. We had an SR flip, SR retest, retested this, broke out. I actually nailed Bitcoin dominance, by the way, on that higher time frame. If you go back to some of my old posts. But right now, I mean, I don't care about it at all. What is order flow saying? Kind of just covered that. Saying some aggressive buying at the highs. Sort of a repeated attempt to break out here. Maybe a little, could call this a little bit of a bearish divergence on Binance here. Price making equal highs, slightly higher high. CBD making a new high. Going from, which candle is the high here? This one, 454 million. What do we have to reset here? You know how I feel about ranges. Be careful falling for this seed word scammers. I've actually never, I just always ignore the comments. I have no idea what the scam is. But I'm sure it somehow takes all your money. What does this question mean? Someone says, can you talk on trading expectations, not confirmations? Here you are not trading a confirmation for a short. Can you ask that? Can you clarify what you're saying? Can you talk on trading expectations, not confirmations? Here you are not trading a confirmation for a short. Are you saying like I'm trading the expectation of a short working here versus a confirmation that I should be in a short? While you answer that, I have to go take a piss. Okay, so the response was yes. Expecting price will drop at some point between 85 and 87K, so start layering in shorts from 85K for exposure. First trading a confirmation of e.g. once 86.6 swept and price hits back to 85, then I enter the short as confirmed break of structure to the downside on 15-minute time frame. So what happens if price never goes to 86.6K? Then where do you enter? The answer to that was then is it more a question of it's okay to miss a trade if waiting for confirmation? Yeah, I wouldn't want to miss. I'd rather be in a short here than miss a trade, because for me, confirmation, so to speak, doesn't require price to go to 86.6K for me. I mean, it's an idea for price to run that high, certainly. But for me, having no short at all, if this happens, would for me be silly. I had enough reason to enter a short here, but aware that these highs may still be in play. And you could say, you know, it can get a little tricky, not always, right? Like, not, you don't always have highs that come in like this and price just goes straight down, but it does happen, of course. And so when I have you know, huge delta, huge volume, price run these highs, I just make the decision if I want to be in the short here for this type of variation when this high starts getting lost, and just account for being okay with some ranging here, probably in there, in that variation of price action, and for this high. That information's available, Muscle Magic. You can search online. But I would just say this. The question was, curious what you would say the average yearly return. The average yearly return of an elite trader, the best of retail trading. Just be careful with that kind of fixation, because I'm not saying this about you specifically. I don't know anything about you. But just generally speaking, that's probably not going to be you. And it doesn't need to be. And if you understand compounding and, like, you know, the types of traders who have ran up $10,000 into $100 million, you'd be surprised over 12 to 15 years what an average yearly return is required to generate something like that. It's probably lower than many people think. I think a lot of people assume it's like the best traders in the world make thousands of percent. Maybe not a lot of people assume, but some make thousands of percent a month or hundreds of percent every day, which of course is ridiculous. Believe it or not, if you're averaging 2 to 3% a month, you're doing well, and you can build a very successful trading career off of 2 to 3% a month. Are you one of the top performing traders? No. but you can have a great career. Take some time. Yeah, Stanislav says even being break even is hard, and it's okay for starters. Yeah, it's very difficult to trade break even over an extended period of time. For a brand new trader to go from brand new to break even is a huge achievement. The default is losing everything. You're heading to zero as a brand new trader. So although break even seems like nothing is happening, look at this little bullish run up into the highs again. Yeah, annualized returns of 20 to 40% according to ChatGPT is great. That's gonna be, I mean, like, obviously there's hedge funds that have outperformed that as an average over 30, 40 years. Jim Simon's average 66% a year. 60, yeah, something like that. 64, 66. I think it's like if you put $1,000 into his fund at the start, by the end it would be worth like $400 million or something. At 66% annualized. You're sucking a lot of money out of the market to be trading multi-billion dollars, managing multi-billions of dollars and doing 66% a year. Like, you gotta be taking a lot of people's money. It's very impressive. Jonathan says 66% risking 1% a trade. That's 66R in a whole year. Why does that sound easier than it is? I mean, maybe it is easier than it is. I think a lot of people are really not content. Like that, I think that's probably one of the craziest things in trading just generally. Like, new traders, their baseline expectations are to consistently outperform the most performant traders to ever live. Like, Jim Simons is a legend, and they one of the most stellar track records ever, and literally you can turn several $1,000s into hundreds of millions of dollars with the returns he has. And most new traders, crypto enthusiasts, would be really disheartened to have the results of Jim Simons in their trading. And their expectation is to outperform him as a brand new trader. So a little detached from reality there. Someone says, as Daniel says, as a new trader, do you think it could be more effective to just do one type of trade setup only 100 times rather than try loads of different approaches, e.g. power of 3, Wyckoff schematic, etc., etc. Well, yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to become proficient trading a ton of different types of styles. Better to perfect a handful of setups to start. But when you're learning, you could try a lot of different stuff. I think like just simple structures are the best place to start, right? Like I'm gonna trade this as a uptrend. I'm gonna trade this as a range. And just start structuring some trades around those types of ideas. We'll see what happens here. This kind of can play out, frankly. I really like shorting like this structure on when I'm scalping. I mean, it's really very similar to this earlier today. Kind of have the range idea, the breakout, trap a bunch of stuff and come and run all the lows. I'm already short. Be interested to see what happens here. Come up, whether we front run this or run it. Run these lows and maybe come back for this high later, but I'll be interested to see what happens here. I don't like longing into stuff like this, but doesn't mean it can't play. Even scalping, because I could be short, but I could still be taking longs in here if I wanted, right? I could be scalp longing as separate trades and whatever, but I don't like personally longing stuff like this. Might break out. Why don't I remember if I answered this or just thought about the answer? But Jonathan's saying 66% risking 1% of trade. That's 66 are in holy. Or wait, no, that's not the. Said it's because their starting capital is so low. 66% on 10K isn't enough for them. But the reality is, if you can make 66K a year starting with 10K, you're going to be worth multi tens of millions of dollars relatively quickly. Well, not quickly, but over 10 years, certainly. Probably going to get access to some more capital with a track record. If you're a very good trader and you have a track record, and I mean, you have an edge and you can consistently print with minimal drawdown, you're going to get access to capital. There's so many ways to get access to capital. That's a skill that you can use to get access to capital. $70 million. Yeah. So, I mean, I personally would never long this, but hey, it also might stop me out of a short. Little ways to go. Be interesting to see what happens here. 62, 64. This is decreasing open interest, so a lot of shorts closing here. There were a decent amount of shorts that opened in here. A lot of those going to get tagged out here. 73 million. It's a lot of deltas. 33. Be interesting to see what happens here. If we run those highs or if this just rejects. exo charts. Just gonna see how this plays out. We're pretty close to this next high. 0.25% away from it. It's a lot of aggressive traders. Do you see this just shifted from a increase in open interest to decrease, right? Or am I blind? It does this sometimes as the candle forms. I might be adding to my short when these highs come, but I may not be. Cutting, adding. This can front run a lot. Come back for it later, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what's above these highs. I mean, it's possible that price just saying anything is possible, that price just blasts through all of this. I mean, I know this might sound a little strange, but for me, this is not particularly like, this is all kind of within the realm of wanting to be short. I know a lot can happen up above, but quite happy to take a stop off a short like this. I just need to figure out if I'm going to add up above or if we sweep and don't break out. A little bit of inverse order flow here between Binance and Bybit. Some aggressive shorting coming in on Binance. Aggressive longing coming in on Bybit. These this 140 million market longing here on Binance gets hammered a lot. I think the only time in the last long while that you're gonna get much of a move off of something like this has been the Trump pump. Their price carried quite a ways off of some of those initial high delta candles. Without crushing those longs first. That high is 0.15% away. The ideal scenario probably is just to see it come as a straight up wick and straight back down, rather than spending a bunch of time above it. Gotta pay attention here, because I need to potentially might be adding to my short here, and I might be cutting it. ETH is very near the GP as well. I think we'll just trade Bitcoin, but I had considered trading this on ETH. What's this look like? This is the 1 minute chart on ETH. Run these highs. This move can retrace a lot here. And you just end up with like these are the highs to take. But you can just end up with this. Punish the first aggressive longs. Be interesting if we trail out anything here. I don't think I can add to my short at all unless we take these highs. If we had ran that high one more time, I would have been pretty tempted. I think that move probably just retraces here, but we'll see. It's really important to remember, guys. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, of course, obviously. If I did, then I wouldn't tell you anyways. But no, it's just important to remember that this, certainly, if you're long here, this feels good. It's exciting, and it might play and whatever. And you can feel like. Oh, you know, the bear's getting wrecked, short's getting wrecked. But if hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of longs opening aggressively here, it's like these longs aren't making money unless price goes much higher, and it may. But they're opening their longs here, right? They're putting on the risk here. And you can go back through this chart. Like this, but they're praying for this, right? This type of breakout, and that might come. But a lot has to happen from here for these longs to pay off. It feels certainly probably feels like a long to a lot of people, but it does not to me. Again, I might get very punished thinking that this and this, it's all a short, it's all a short. So who would be laughing now? But I'm essentially never trading with these traders. So it just is what it is. They win occasionally. It's rare. Somebody says it's like you assume. Mexc says it's like you assume these are normal traders, not kinda entity or something. just they're a type of trader, right? I mean, they can be the same trader. You can have the same trader that trades with limit orders, can trade with market orders, but these are reactive traders. So like what types of traders, there's two traders here, right? Let's just say here in this 349 million volume candle, $349 million candle, there's something like 250 million market longs, some shorts closing. Let's just say aggressive buying at market, and maybe 100 million market selling. But let's just say that there's a dollar for dollar. You have market and limit traders. So there's people opening aggressive longs here, and there's people opening aggressive shorts. Or sorry, limit shorts. But they're still getting shorts. They're sitting here just filling short orders as people are buying, quote unquote, the top. For every buyer, there's a seller. So you're just looking at two types of traders. What type of trader maybe this would be, think about it for you. Let's say you have $100 million and you have a choice. You get to sit there and see a big breakout. Everything's going, you're trading with the trend, and you're going to click a market buy for $100 million. And your plan is to chase that move, right? Oh my God, we're breaking out. It's time to get long. I can't believe it. This is the moment. That's sort of like the mentality of most of these market orders. They're not positioned for a move ahead of time. They're reacting to something that's happening, a big breakout, hundreds of millions of dollars getting long. At the same time, there's somebody sitting here filling limit shorts. They're taking the other side, so they're selling into this aggressive buying. And those are just two different types of traders. There's not, so like people will say, well, maybe all these market buyers, maybe they know something and that's why they're filling such, or market buying so much Bitcoin. But then you could just say, well, what about the limit sellers? Maybe they know something. Why are they sitting here just happy to fill shorts into all these aggressive buyers? I mean, they're just sitting here with limit sell orders filling shorts into this. So kind of plays both ways, right? Typically, the aggressive traders get punished. What do you mean? What do you mean they're always going to be limit orders? What are you saying, Victor? I don't think you're understanding what you're saying. So when you say they're always going to be limit orders, so if I start an exchange that trades Bitcoin tomorrow, there's just always going to be limit orders? These are orders that are filled, right? You're looking at what orders have filled, market buys, market sells, and there's limit orders on the other side of it. That's what this data is showing you. So like this is 20 million. This is an order that's actually filled. Can you explain the numbers in the candles? Yeah, it's just buying and selling. Bid, ask. Think of it like a volume profile. Do you know whether the limit orders have already closed? They could be in and out real quick, pure arbitrage scalping. I mean, there's going to be some degree of, some of them have closed. You don't know what's open and what's closed, but it's going to be difficult for, 300 million volume to trade into this, and then with 140 million delta, and then risk on open interest increase, and then everything to have closed into the next candle, and so on and so forth. I mean, let's just put it this way. Here, let's zoom out. This is what's happening. Open interest increasing pretty steadily. Delta's going straight up. Billions and billions of volume here. Tons of aggressive market buying. We can basically just zoom out and look at it on the chart. Does it mean price has to reject? No. These are the types of things you see around major highs. Usually much smaller. I would venture to guess this is the absolute most aggressive buying we've seen. That could mean it's the most bullish thing ever and price is about to break out. It's possible. Coming up to some major highs, not really surprising that people want to long aggressively. But typically price is going to move somewhat in relation to the degree at which people are longing. So for example, you say there's always going to be limit orders. People provide liquidity. If somebody market buys $5 billion right now, what do you think is going to happen? You think it's just going to fill and we're going to see a big $5 billion order fill up here? No, price is probably going to go straight up, right? And to a degree, that should be happening with price action, right? Like, for example, if we see another 100 million open here, price should go up. If we see 500 million open up here, price should keep going up. If price stops going up in relation to how much aggressive buying pressure there is, that's probably an early warning sign. Price is going up a bit here. CVD is going up a lot. Open interest is going up a lot. But it really could just keep going. Who knows? Rana says CBD and price are doing the same thing. How could someone, I guess I just kind of answered that. How could someone be limit absorbing these market buys? There's a degree element, right? Like if CVD goes up $1 billion and price goes up 0.5%, you could say there's no absorption here. Price went up and CVD went up, but there's an element of a degree. Like, you wouldn't say, just to make the example more extreme, if a $500 million positive delta candle open here, open interest up, and a 500 million volume candle, 500 million positive delta, and price ticked up above this high, that would be absorption, even though price went up, right? Or ticked up above this high. That would be, whoa, that was a lot of aggressive buying here that just got absorbed. So this is a lot of aggressive buying. But I mean, it'd be pretty shocking if you saw this and price didn't go up at all. But I think these major highs probably coming. And what happens after that? Maybe it's a big short squeeze, and maybe I'm part of it. I mean, I don't want to say this. It's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to say things too bluntly here, because I truly believe we can break out here and I can get stopped out, and I think there's scenarios where we just push up aggressively that are perfectly within the realm of possibility. But at the same time, so I don't want this to get taken out of context, I feel like longing this super aggressively with big size. So let's just say that, like, if we look at order flow right now and we see these aggressive longs, and we could just say these are the most aggressive longs, and you see more and more and more and more, and maybe think that maybe it's a little bit of caution would be warranted here, taking the long side. I think I would feel like an idiot longing this. That's what I would have to say. I'd feel, even if price pushes higher, and even if I get stopped out of shorts and we go to all-time highs, I think I would still look back at this moment and feel dumb longing this and not shorting it. And if it happened again, a similar scenario, I would just short it. Typically our RMD says, what would you use as extra confidence if you see bearish absorption? What else would you look for to pull the trigger? Well, ideally trading around some kind of technical idea as well, some kind of technical level. Like right now, technically, price action is strong on this breakout. I mean, we're claiming levels, we're breaking out, and there's another level right above us. My trade plan encapsulates some of that level. What happens up above here is probably pretty important. Um, but at some point, I'm not really looking for more confidence. I'll just put on the trade and take the stop if it doesn't work. I think that's, something that is beneficial, like the idea of doing a bunch of scalping. Say over a weekend, you take 300 trades, and you're just taking a bunch of trades. You're in a trade, you're out of a trade, you're long, you're short, you're long, you're short, and you're going to lose a bunch, you're going to win a bunch, and it just kind of you stop caring as much. I think you can get a little bit too uh, fixated on like all this confidence you need to take a trade. It's just, I mean, how much confidence do I need to sit on this live stream and be short during this pretty aggressive move up? I guess enough to do it. The tough part about stuff like this is, I mean, I'll be honest, I really don't care. But is no one's going, like the average person watching this is just going to be, if the short doesn't work, is going to be like, you're an idiot. Like, why are you shorting this? Look how, I mean, it's so obvious we're going straight up, blah, 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 blah. But I actually used the same on my live stream earlier today when I had the idea of shorting this just into these lows. Just saying that, we have this major high right above us. And this short looks so stupid if it doesn't work. Because it's just the idea of front running the level, trapping a bunch of longs here, wiping out that liquidity, and then coming and taking the level. It's like a local little scalping order flow idea. It's not like this is the best trade setup ever, but it's a type of setup I would trade in that context. But it looks really dumb when it doesn't work, because it's just like you're shorting into this, and this is your uptrend, and your major high is right here. So it's just one of those things. It's just one of those trades that looks really dumb when it doesn't work, but it actually works most of the time. Like, I'm always going to be short here, essentially. And what people want, and it might happen, of course, what people want is they want this to be the breakout, right? They want this to be like, wow, the bottom's in. And who knows, it could be. They don't want it to be, let's go to the 4-hour chart. In fact, let's clean up the chart here. They don't want it to be anything like this. It's like the big move's happening and then everyone just gets wiped out. They want this to be this, and it might be, but for me, I'm happy to trade it as this. Would have been a winning day today if I didn't roll my, well, I still might be, but if I get stopped up this short, if I didn't roll these long profits into the short. I'm actually curious, which one of these is the daily high? Ooh, we took the daily candle high. That's kind of nice. Tops in, boys and girls. Someone asked, is that because you had a bad experience with a breakout setup? I mean, I've probably had some bad experiences with breakout setups, but I've also had good experiences. I don't really like breakout trading into big horizontal breakouts. I don't mind doing it into trending breakouts. So like, let me give some examples. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. I don't mind trading like trending breakout retest setups. I can't recall if I traded. I know some I traded down here, but there's really big bullish divergences here. Maybe this would be a good analogy of what I think people would hope happens here, and it could. But there was really big bullish divergences here. Super aggressive selling into this. But yeah, diagonal breakouts, I don't mind trading into. Which can be confluent with some horizontal breakouts, certainly. If I'm going to trade like a horizontal breakout, I'm just usually not doing it. I'm usually just looking for longs at the lows. Like even here, I would just look for longs coming into the breakout off of something like this, like a local retest, long app into it. But yeah, I'm usually not longing horizontal breakouts like this. Yeah, I like entering on retests, diagonal retests. Everything is always going to be an approximate answer. So somebody says, when price is ranging, what kind of criteria do you have for entering shorts at the top of the range or longs at the bottom? How are you establishing invalidations? I think the simplest answer is that if price is breaking out, you should close the short. Or if it's breaking down, you should close the long. And if you want to give a little bit of a room for error in the context of the range or deviation, then that's fine. But say you're in this short and price starts doing this, then you should probably get out of the short. And if you want to let price carry a little higher, you can get out of it here. But if price is trading outside of the range, and it's not getting back into the range, you should probably just close the trade. There's a lot of things that can happen that change the context of a range. Trust me, my members live stream earlier today was a lot cleaner. Waiting for these highs. I mean, it's just literally a big question mark. What happens here, here? Don't know. Probably want to start seeing price going down at some point here. If short, probably want to start seeing it go up if long. I'm just going to run all of these trend lines on the chart. I have them in a folder somewhere, but I'm just going to re-pull them. It depends. Sometimes I do live streams more often, sometimes less often. It's been less often lately, and I've been doing them as public live streams mostly. Gotta pay attention here. This is 160. Last local high comes in here. So price can pop up through this pretty quick. And it can reject pretty quick. We'll see. This is right on the edge of where I will be cutting my short or adding to it. And if I cut it, I might have to just reopen it again, depending on what happens up above towards 88, 89,000. This is the last horizontal high. Of this. It's a trend line here too, but if price starts trading above this, this can come, there's no structure here. Like all this can come very quickly afterwards. Yes, we can still reject there. But generally speaking, you're not surprised to see price travel through these types of areas of the chart fairly easily. Yeah, a lot of times I've been doing the live streams as public live streams because it just actually makes it easier for the members too, because it puts them in the live stream catalog, whereas it doesn't if I do them privately. The odds these highs don't come seem pretty low, and the odds that price doesn't travel a little ways to them seems low, but we'll see. Keep in mind, I have to go to sleep. Well, I'm gonna go to sleep relatively soon. It's very early for me. But for me, I mean, this is my opportunity to either take a stop loss or be in a short and go to sleep in a short. And so there's a good chance whatever happens between now and when I wake up, or whatever happens will have happened between now and when I wake up. So gotta stay at it, because even as a trader, you can't. For me, I don't want to miss moments like this. Of course, I can just stay up all night and get hit with a stop loss. That's fine too. Probably this next impulse is going to be. It can be a big impulse. Can wick through these highs. I can travel pretty far. Oh, I just realized I was on the wrong screen. Alright, there's the last local high. And there's not a lot of structure above us as resistance. So this is sort of a little bit of a region up here for a do or die moment. I may be adding here. Just letting some of this local rejection play out. Yeah. So I'm adding. It's the last level here. Wicked it, rejected. Had price played out a little bit differently, I wouldn't have taken a short at all until this high came. But it's enough for me. That's the level. We ran the last bit of it into the trend line. Works or it doesn't. Still a lot needs to happen here for this all to play out, right? Got uptrend, this needs to break down, this needs to not now just break out, blah, 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 blah. But this is my last idea here. A short on a Wednesday. What could go wrong? It's a great time to short. Maybe not for long. Yeah, I don't mind I don't mind holding this a little bit, but certainly need to be a little careful. But you really want to start seeing this go, this go, this go, probably are bouncing somewhere in here for a bit. Start seeing a lower high. A lot you need to start seeing here. If price continues to reject it all. Let's go to the 30-minute chart here. think the bull market's over. My primary idea is still bullish towards all-time highs. ETH still front running this high. The GP. XRP kind of front running its GP too. Kind of not surprised to see another move to the upside. But ideally not far. Doge just about to take its highs. Yay. There's probably going to be another move. These highs are probably coming on ETH in almost all scenarios. This high is probably coming on XRP, which means Bitcoin's probably going higher. Locally. Pretty relentless, longing, aggressively. One of our bigger increases is CBD. Chub Pup a little bigger, but price carried a lot further. Big increase in open interest. Apologies. This is a little more gradual, but bigger. It's all-time highs though. Now this is a pretty unusual amount of aggressive buying. My only regret is not shorting more. Just kidding. No, I don't have any regrets. Kind of very much, I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I don't think it's very likely that this move carries. Had this played out a little differently, I might have not started scaling in here. My second idea was to scale in here. You could always wish that you were just in your full short from here. But we'll see what happens locally here. I mean, if I'll say this, I'm interested because if I'm gonna get blown out of this short, that'll be interesting. Something really interesting will have to happen. And I wouldn't mind just seeing how price develops if I'm gonna go to sleep with a hard stop. Daily close is in 13 minutes. Nice. Hopefully it works out for you. Someone said they took a short on ETH. Tag that local high. It's a little front run of the 618. But structurally a little sweep. Yeah. I mean, the reason I don't want to say too much is because I really think this trade may not work, and it's possible that price carries much higher, and I don't want people to take what I say to infer that this is anything else to me but a trade. But I also think this is one of the better swing short setups that have been on the chart for a while. I'd be very surprised to see this just carry much higher. That said, it may just do just that, and I'd be fine with it as well. I'm not short here thinking anything along the lines of, oh, there's no way this can lose. There's anything like that. I'm just thinking I want to be in a short here under a lot of scenarios, but I don't really want to just hard stop right above these highs right here and go to sleep, because I think that puts me out of the trade a lot, and I kind of just want to see what's happening here, and I don't necessarily want to hard stop super high above these highs either, so it's a little bit of a tricky situation. This is all very I'd say very critical for not necessarily the rejection, but for whether price could retrace relatively quickly out of the daily close, or spend a lot more time chopping around and ranging up here. I'm pretty tired. I don't really want to get into the thesis, but I actually don't think I'm not bullish on the stock market and Bitcoin for new all-time highs. Technically, I've been live 3 hours or 6 hours today. That's fine. Hang out. Luzido's shorted printing. He's up 42 cents, he says. He shorted ETH. Sweep of that high. Congratulations. I mean, this is pretty wild. What was the CBD in this entire pump in volume? Let's go low to high. $16 billion volume, 1.1 billion, 743. We'll go from this origin here. About half the volume, but about 90%, 80% of the CBD in Delta. Citizen says, isn't streaming more fast to share ideas versus writing it? Yeah, but then I have to sit here and chat. I mean, writing an idea, because you might be able to write something in 2 minutes and say it in 30 seconds or 20 seconds, but you can't start a live stream for that long and close it. This is kind of like, you're just here, you're talking about stuff, you're watching the charts anyway, so just stay live. Kind of feels like a little bit of a cop-out to end the live stream while price is making new highs into the levels while you're short and wanting to add to shorts, be another thing if it just was ranging, but yeah, it just feels like it should stay live. Well, I hope you're managing your risk mode. He says, I have 7 shorts running. Took your advice to take a lot of trades by heart. I did say with paper trades, by the way. Is this your common day if not live streaming? No. I mean, this isn't happening every day, obviously. Like, price breakout to a high time frame level. Say alerts. New daily candle in 5 minutes. Hopefully we just play that out and maybe we run the highs again, but well, let's put it this way. I'm confident enough to be in this short that I should be in it. I'd kind of be a little surprised if I don't come out of it okay, but I'm very confident, depending on what happens here, that I won't want to be in it much longer. No, I'm short, Daniel. So waiting for 92K to try a short again, and no, I just added to my short. I'm short. If you're gonna try, I mean, if I'm gonna short anything towards that 68K idea and have any chance of it carrying, it's probably something like this. And if we break straight up and straight out, then well, maybe that idea doesn't look so good anymore. Kind of interesting. The first little aggressive selling here, some aggressive shorts opening. Instantly underwater, they said. Why do these guys get it open 150 million, $200 million longs? I try to open a $20 million short and you're gonna squeeze me out? Trying to short right into the daily open. Do we make a new high on the new daily candle? You know, it must be said, if, it's a big if we reject here, it doesn't look so crazy. Come and take these local highs on the daily chart. Or Wednesday pump, super big longs opening, and then price just rolls over. And it doesn't look so crazy for a major high. Not to me anyways. there's the daily open. See what happens here. We like to see the candle open green or white in my case. Leave at least a wick. I haven't actually checked in a while. It used to be really rare for, I mean, it makes sense that it's rare, I guess, but that you have a daily candle, a flat daily candle on the highs or lows. So if a candle starts with a move hitting outside, probably isn't going to remain flat. Bit of aggressive shorting coming in here. Yeah, so this is moment of truth, maybe. At least as far as this live stream's concerned. Oof, I'm tired. Ugh. Alright, probably need to see this come down, or we're getting into cutting territory here, which could also enter re-entering territory, but let's see how this plays out. If I could do an underwater voice, Jojo says, Joe just joined, what's good? What's the play, Lucky? I would do the gargling underwater voice and say, oh, I'm short. This is the first 5-minute candle of the daily open. So The thing is, if I wasn't short right now, I'd be watching this and considering shorting if this broke down below the previous high. So that would be what I'd be watching for right here. But I would be pretty cautious about getting short if this does not reject. Like, if this is the daily chart, I'd be like, oh, I'd consider shorting this. But I wouldn't want to get short if this was breaking out. And so, I'm applying that logic to the short I'm in. Some aggressive shorting coming in again. If soft stopped here, soft stopping, it typically doesn't make a lot of sense to try to close at the top of a candle like that. But that high is probably coming to get tested again. Probably. XRP, ETH, Doge, much quieter compares to Bitcoin. Not making any new highs. This looks so crazy bullish on a breakout here, like insanely bullish. Looks choppy if we reject, but it looks really bullish. Yeah, so we've taken this last high. This looks really crazy to just keep pumping out of this. Looks super bullish. if we don't just create a wick here and have a daily chart that looks like this, red with a wick up above this high. That is what you want this candle to look like if you are short. And yeah, it just looks crazy bullish if price just keeps going up. Retested that local high. I mean, it just seems crazy to think that there's any chance that happens. But it's pretty tricky. Because what do you do here? Like, say you're gonna go to sleep. Do you say, "Oh, well, I'm not short here. I'll see where price is at in the morning." It's like, well, if this short's gonna work anywhere, it's probably somewhere like this. Is the last leg of it, but literally, you don't want to close your short here. But at the same time, even if price comes back below these, hard stopping there is getting run a little bit while you're sleeping. So I have to think a little bit about that. It's pretty ridiculous to cut a short here. How crazy is it to go to sleep with a hard stop there? It's probably fine. What else are we gonna do? Run it a little higher. Some aggressive shorting coming in at the daily open. To run these highs again. Oh, I'm so tired. I kind of need a nuke. That's really what I need here. I need this whole uptrend to get obliterated. And then at least I can go to sleep thinking there's some chance that a stop here holds. I mean, this all looks like it can come quick. The be interesting to see how many of these longs have trailed here as well. If we get any of this. Yeah, like I don't mind just letting all this play out. You know, another 150 million delta, why not? More aggressive longs, big increase in open interest, and see what happens. And maybe I'm stopping out, but the trouble right now is I really have to go to sleep. Like, I'm so tired. It's just placing a stop loss there. How high do I really want to run it? I probably, we'll see. Look how bullish this looks, though. Can you blame anyone for longing? Looks like. I think these highs are coming a lot here again. Well, whatever. We'll see. I'm gonna go to sleep, I think. Bit of aggressive shorting coming in. Definitely one of our largest aggressive long uptrends in a while. From this low. I did actually have this Pico bottom long right here, but I may or may not have covered it into this and just put that into a short. Anyways, just so you know, my biggest concern personally, it's not really getting stopped out. It's waking up to some variation of something having happened that looks like this, like this, like this, not being in the trade with it printing. And all of this having been wiped out. I mean, look at this uptrend. Look at this on the 15-minute chart. It looks crazy. So I want to be in this short, in the scenarios when it works, and I want to be out of this short in the scenarios that it does not. Price can probably run this all very quickly, frankly, in the bear scenarios, but I don't really want to get hard stopped off of this. But then I don't want to just be eating weird hard stops up here. So anyways, it's more just thinking about where to hard stop this, because I'm not at. If you had asked me under a lot of different scenarios, like going to sleep here, if I thought it likely I was going to be hard stopped up here, I would say probably not. But now it doesn't look so unlikely. So not so worried about the loss. Worried about the loss of the win if it doesn't work. I mean, if it does work, I get stopped. But technically, it's about as good a stop above that high, price breaking below this high. It's about as good of invalidation as you could ask for. We're gonna do one more thing here before we close it. My favorite thing to do with this setup. And that is, look at this. Wow. And that is to look at this as an inverted chart. Quite happy to be short here. Sleep with a short. I mean, it looks pretty okay. It looks okay to me. So, anyways, inverted chart. This is essentially the idea. Is run this and tag this. It's essentially this. I posted it in the Discord, just saying looks a little strange not to take this. This is the target. It's a little earlier today, or I guess it was yesterday. It was almost exactly 24 hours ago, I guess. But I think it looks all right. I don't know why this setup looks so much better to me inverted, but certainly does. Take all these lows and rip. All right, one last peek at order flow. Price starting to reject below that high. Nice little wick on the daily high potentially. Oops. Another 117 million delta there. Look at Bybit too. All right, well, hopefully I wake up to a short that is printing and not a short that is stopped. And hopefully I don't wake up to 68K come and gone. All right, guys, that's it for me. Good luck, happy trading. I think these highs can come a lot here too. It's a little tricky. But whatever.